which we will calculate prime cost. So I will take some assumed figures. First, opening inventory of raw material. We start the sum if there is opening inventory of raw material, which is also called as direct material. So opening inventory of raw material, say it is given as 10 in thousands. So add purchase of raw material. The format is opening inventory of raw material, add purchase of raw material, less purchase return, purchase less purchase return, that is net purchase, add carriage inward of raw material. Carriage inward is also known as carriage on purchases. Now one point which you have to remember here is you don't have to take carriage outward or carriage on sales. Carriage inward is direct expense. Direct expense means when you are bringing a raw material in the factory, that time carriage inward is direct expense. Then you have to less closing inventory of raw material and you get cost of material consumed. So opening inventory of raw material or direct material is, for example, given 10. Now you have to add purchase of raw material. For example, it is given as 110. Less purchase return of raw material, if any. Say in question it is given as 10. So you are subtracting this. Add carriage inward of raw material. Carriage inward ही add करना, carriage outward मत लेना. So for example, it is given as 20 less closing inventory of raw material. For instance, it is given as 30. So what we will do? Opening inventory, add purchase, less purchase return of raw material, add carriage inward and less closing inventory of raw material. When in 10 I add 110, then subtract 10, then add 20 and then subtract 30, I get 100, and this 100 is cost of material consumed. Now after calculating cost of material consumed, I will find out prime cost. How will I do that? Cost of material consumed, add direct wages या direct labor, add direct expenses and add royalties. Royalties is a production expense only. When I do this, I get prime cost. So for example, direct labor is given as 30, then direct expenses are given as 10 and royalties, for instance, are given as 10. So what will be my prime cost? 100 plus 30 plus 10 plus 10, that is 150. This is how we solve a sum to get prime cost.